Now this one is mostly informational. If you want to implement any of these things in this one, the ones that aren't already implemented, go ahead and contact the help desk. So, Enterprise updates. There have been several updates to Enterprise lately, some by SELCO, some by me, just because every now and after Kasugi I had total brainstorm, brilliant ideas that came through from some of the sessions I went to at that one, just stealing things left and right from other people's catalogs. So, first thing is the SELCO update to 43GA7, that is the number for Enterprise. This fixed a couple things and expanded a couple things. The main thing that it fixed is pickup locations. I was not aware of this one until Anne called me on a Saturday, that it was implemented as soon as the upgrade was completed, because I thought we had to make a switch in the software. But now when a patron makes a request in Enterprise, it will now default to their location inside of their Horizon record, rather than which Enterprise profile that they are using at the moment. I don't know how about the rest of you feel about this, but it's a wonderful thing for SELCO, because when we first went to Enterprise and this wasn't happening, we were getting 400 requests a day sent to our building to be picked up. So I had to hide us from this and made several staff members quite annoyed that they couldn't request anything in Enterprise. But since this has become active, I've undone all of that stuff, and I've talked to Bob, and he said, nope, everything seems to be working out fine from our end on this. So hopefully it's working out for everyone else as well. Also, one thing you might have noticed that in Facets, when you now go to View All, it expands out into a populated screen like this that allows you to actually sort them as well from A to Z or by the number of results, and using the same include and exclude buttons. It has screwed up some of my scripts that I'm still working on fixing, but overall I absolutely love this. There are several other minor bug fixes and enhancements, a lot of which don't impact us, but these are the main two that came along with this last upgrade. Okay, now this is a script that I've been working on and off for about 2 months. It's called Expanding Fields or something like that in my code. This one I've gone through, and when you look at a DVD record, for example, you will find that there are 20-odd added author entries in there for every actor in the film. And while it's useful information, it takes up an awful lot of screen space when you're scrolling down to get to the individual item holdings in there. So what I have done is I have gone through and created a script that checks those 3 fields, subject, genre, and added author. And if there are more than 4 instances of any of those, it will go ahead and hide anything 4 and beyond behind a little See More link, as you'll see right there. Now, if you hover over that for 1 second, or if you choose to click it, let's see if this animation works. Aha! It expands to show all the rest of them. That way the information is still available. It's just a little bit, saves real estate on this page. That one's already live and in the catalog. You might have noticed it, you might not have. I don't know how often you actually use Enterprise. But that's something in there, just a little added enhancement. Okay, custom covers. This is something that is live but isn't really implemented aside from my one test right now, is that we have a number of things in the catalog which are local. They are not anything that are supplied nationally with an ISBN to match up against with Syndetics, which is where we get all of our book covers from. So this script goes through and will check for those items that don't have book covers presented through Syndetics, and then if we want to put in an image for this item, all that's required is that we put in an image with a file name that matches the bib number in Horizon, and it will become available in the catalog. The thumbnails will size automatically based off the one from the detailed display. So as you can see, the laser tag kit, at least in my test profile, I don't remember if I made this one live or not, has the little image in there from the actual laser taggers. So we can have those in the catalog. This is something if you want to implement for a record that you have in Enterprise, go ahead and email the help desk a JPEG of the image that you want and the bib number that's attached to. It is really simple for us to implement after I wrote the script. It might suffer from some things if a bib number gets changed, but we can always just reload the file at that point. New facets. These ones are not live yet. I just finished them last week. But thanks to a presentation on formatting their format facet, actually, I was able to figure out how to go ahead and create several new facets based on code in the MARC record in Horizon, primarily literary form and audience. I know that people have been asking about the audience one ever since we went live with Enterprise, and the literary form one as well. These are limited in scope just because MARC records are so complex, and primarily because they mostly work off of the fixed fields in the 008. And if you're familiar with the 008 fixed fields, they fluctuate depending on what's in the leader. So they don't always have the same fields available inside of the 008. So for books and audio, I can now create a facet that will go through and check if something is fiction or nonfiction. As I said, the primary way of checking this is the 008. If that fails, and again, it will still only check for books and audio, if that fails, and only if that fails, will it check through the subject headings, and maybe there's something in the subject headings that will put it into the appropriate one. If there is nothing to indicate otherwise, it will fall into nonfiction. So if you're looking for something that in the catalog you see that it's showing up in the nonfiction, that record will need to be updated in Horizon either by fixing the 008 to change that indicator to a 1 instead of 0, or there are certain subject headings which will adjust that, such as subfield V fiction is one of the things that it searches for. With audience, it works on several different things because this one is a bit more consistent in the 008. Books, any kind of audio recording, including music, computer files, and visual materials, which includes DVDs. They all have the target audience fixed field in the 008. This one got a bit trickier because there are no real subject headings that really worked all that well to pull it out there in case of a fallback. There is the juvenile literature one and the juvenile fiction one. Again, not always used consistently. And there is a young adult one, which is barely used at all. I'm fairly sure Becky told me it's relatively new. But this facet will go in and will divide materials between adult, juvenile, and young adult. If it cannot find anything, it will default to the adult one. So these are new facets that are available. If you're interested in getting them implemented on your profile, go ahead and contact the help desk. I'm not promising they're 100% accurate, and I will revise this formula when I find instances where it'll make a bigger change rather than just adjusting a few records. Oops. We have several new rooms. I was going to showcase them all, but since we're running low on time, I'll just point out that these are the ones here. If you look in the slideshow that is attached to the agenda right now and will be posted to the website later in the day, you can click them and see these are the new rooms which are available for your library if you want to implement them. And then Enterprise 4.5, no one knows what happened to 4.4, is going to be the next update for Enterprise. It will be coming out in June, I believe. Where'd Cheryl go?
Oh, yes, sorry, June 17th.
June 17th. Oh, that's right. It's someone's birthday in the back row. This has several features in it. These three on the top are the ones that say they already have done and are ready to go into it, which is the Forgot My PIN feature, which apparently is broken right now for Horizon. Otherwise, it was supposed to have come out 2 updates ago. But this one will fix it for Horizon. This update in general is primarily targeted at Horizon users, not Symphony, which is a wonderful little change. We will also be able to show non-monetary blocks inside of patron records, so they'll be able to see the notes, message to borrower again. We can customize which ones go to that. And borrowers can choose to have their circ history kept in there. This is something that we can choose as well, whether they want to have access to this or not, and then they can choose on an individual level whether the circ history will display in their borrower record. If you are unfamiliar, I will remind you that circ history is recorded already in Horizon, but it's currently only accessible to SELCO staff. These final 2 are ones that they are promising. They're saying are in development. We'll see if they actually make it into 4.5, which is increasing the publication date relevancy when it comes to searching Enterprise, so more recent materials will appear higher on the list of results. And then patron editing, which is patrons will have ability to edit certain parts of their patron record and it will be updated inside of Horizon. Again, we can control which fields they are allowed to edit, if they are allowed to edit anything at all in their patron record when it comes to this point. It's just a new option that will be available out there. This is also related to the upgrade to Horizon Web Services that we had. This was unavailable before that. Okay, side projects, things that I am slightly working on. hoping Cersei Dynamics will help me out on, is responsive design for enterprise. I would love to be able to get the catalog to work properly on mobile devices. Cersei Dynamics is promising that they're working on this, but they haven't given out a timetable at all, so I don't know how long to expect on that. Otherwise, if things really die down this summer, I might get a chance to work on this. It would be at least a 1-month project for me to get something up and running appropriately. And then I would like to get image sliders working properly so we can get something in the room so they're a bit more dynamic than just the list. Something I'm getting close to getting to work, but haven't quite got to yet. Okay, that's all that I have. Really quick, does anyone have any questions? Because we still have one more presentation before we go to the break. If not, excellent. Cheryl? It's up for you again.